A good evening again. Here we are one more time. Myself, Charles Manns, and my co-host there, Mr. Bill McGee, on Let's Talk Music, Richmond RVA. And we're talking about those years, 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. And we've got some authority figures here today. These guys are historians, and they are, in fact, the foundation of that time. They established themselves as one of the most outstanding groups, and of course, you had to know it involved my buddy, Mr. Bill McGee. So at this time, take it away, Bill.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Charles, and this is going to be a very interesting meeting because as a co-host, I also was a member of this group that we're going to talk about, and one of the founders of the group. And I have two illustrious members with me who actually, after the group, went on to do several very interesting things musically, lots of stuff musically. The handsome guy is Hannon Lane. We call him Juicy. And the other handsome guy is Hermon Maclin, and we call him Blues. And they were both members of the group from Virginia State University called Trussel. And Trussel had a record out. We had several different records, but the one that we kind of most known for is a record called Love Injection that Hannon co-wrote with our drummer, Ron Smith. Hannon did the horn arrangements, and I blame him for the 9 modulations or whatever, whatever number of modulations in that song. It's 5 modulations. We pretty much got started in January, February of '73. Now, I think Hannon probably joined the group 6 months after we started. Blues and I were there as one of the original members. We actually started out playing gigs down at the snack shop in Foster Hall at Virginia State. Chicken was probably the one who recruited everybody.
Yeah, well, I had my own group called the 13th Hour. We were all from Lawrenceville. All of us went to high school together. Chicken Hines played drums. Soul Papa Cal, he was the James Brown of the group, played drums on everything else. And Kate Walker was the Aretha Franklin. Bernard Pierre Louis was from Haiti. He was our musical director, and that's when Chicken saw me. You know, right about the time Jonathan played with Trussel and Chicken lied to me and told me, well, he didn't really lie to me. He lied to y'all. He told y'all I was the baddest bass player he had ever heard in his life. And then I get over there and y'all learning stuff by Earth, Wind, and Fire and all this. I'm up in my room scratching all my records up, picking the needle up, trying to start it over. Let me see. It took me 3 days just to get the intro.
Oh, man.
In the back of my mind, I'm hearing Larry Tynes go, Fred, think, where would the next note be? Where would it be? I was an ag major, and all you cats were music majors. And so here I am in there, trying to act like I can hang with y'all and, fumbling my way through it. And then I go back to my room and study for the 2 or 3, 4 or 5 hours, miss class the next morning, sleeping in, but I'd make it to rehearsal and I'd know as much of that song as I could figure out.
All right.
Charles, here's the deal. Hannon both was proficient on all kinds of instruments. Hannon played drums, he played keyboard, played trombone, and he played upright bass.
So you were going to let him in anyway.
Electric bass. Oh, yeah, definitely. He was a shoe-in. We were salivating to get him in the band, because he could pick up, he would add a third horn on a lot of different things, and he would add a rhythm guitar on some stuff, because Chicken thought he was Jimi Hendrix or whatever.
That just nice guitar work.
Right. So yeah. Oh, no, yeah. He was a hell of a trombone player, too. So that's how Hannon ended up. So, Hannon, how did Chicken convince you to quit working with your dad? Or was it, I'm kind of thinking Larry had a lot to do with it, too.
It was Larry.
Yeah.
Larry approached me. He said, "Hey, man, we really want you to join this group. So, what you gonna do?" And I said, "Well, look, I have a commitment to my uncle, but I tell you what, I'm going to stay with my uncle's group until I graduate. And once I graduate from Virginia State with this degree, I'm going to turn in my resignation and I'm coming to Trussel. And that was
cool.
Yeah.
All you guys came from Virginia State. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a percussionist, original percussionist named Junius Leroy Dyson.
And Veronica.
And Veronica wasn't there at the very beginning. She didn't do the snack shop gig.
Oh, that's
we kind of
right.
like recruited her like we did Hannon.
Yeah.
Once the group had come together and we realized we needed some more vocal help. In Richmond, the three groups, your group, Poison's group, and our group had three of the best singers. Debbie was a college-trained musician also, and so was Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know a lot of the stuff that we learned, when she joined the group, it truly helped our vocals.
Yeah.
But Hannon, tell us more about what you were doing and a little bit of your background coming out of Newport News.
I was gigging with my uncle's group. It was called the Jammin' Jammers. It was a real nice group. They had 4, sometimes 5-piece horn section, guitar, bass, drums, and organ. And my uncle played the Hammond B3 with that group. Did all the top 40 R&B stuff, and that was my.
What's your uncle's name again?
George Winfield.
George Winfield.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and he did a lot of
George Winfield and the Jammin' Jammers. Okay.
Yeah, right. And he booked a lot of gigs and a lot of shows and stuff in and around the Hampton area. But I was doing that gig when Trussel started developing. As a matter of fact, I was a fan because I used to show up at the snack shop whenever I could on Thursday nights, and I'd sit in the audience and enjoy the jam session. So I was already a fan, and of course, months later when Larry asked me to join, it was like hands down. Yeah, there's no doubt I'm joining this band. If the invitation's out there, I'm taking it. Right out of Virginia State, I got a job teaching in Sussex County. As a matter of fact, Charles Smith, Larry Tynes, and I were hired as 3 band directors and at the same time out of Virginia State to go to Sussex County to develop a band program. And that's what we did. And as a matter of fact, we put together a marching band, and we were at our strongest marching about 85.
Okay.
And that came from nothing. We came from 0 to 85 in 1 year.
What grade level?
High school.
Oh, we had 8 through 12. That's the only way we could do it. We had 8 through 12.
So were these students already students of music and had not been corralled? Or did you actually have to give them instruments and teach them?
We created that in 1 year.
Right.
We devised a plan. We knew what we had to do, and we went to work, man. And fortunately, the students were all for it, and they bought into our philosophy and what we were trying to do, and we did it in 1 year.
Good.
Amazing.
Outstanding.
And it hasn't been like that since down there, but we were very successful with that. And I was doing that as my day job while Trussel was doing his thing. Yeah, so every day after band practice at school, I went into band practice with Trussel. Trussel was not a mistake. It was not a fluke. We worked hard at it. That group was good because we worked our butts off every single day. We had band practice every day for like 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, it was Monday through Friday. We didn't count Fridays because Friday we were gigging. We were out, we were doing dates. We were out working. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were in band practice from 7 until about 11, maybe 12 o'clock, and that was every single day.
6. It was 6 o'clock.
Was it that early?
Right.
6 o'clock.
Really?
Bill would never let me get out in time to catch the store before they closed at 11.
Oh, wow.
Trying to keep me from being an alcoholic.
That's something else. I wasn't aware of that at all. That y'all worked that diligently at it.
Yeah, we
put
did.
that group together.
Charles asked a question earlier about how the group got together, and I guess I'm always the cosmic brother of the group, but I'm going to tell you, man, there was a vibe you know, it just felt good. And I don't think it was because we like handpicked everybody. I think we just kind of gravitated toward each other, and we just kind of fed off each other, and we became family.
Yeah.
And
Sound like you just had a commitment to a single mission. And by all of you coming out of the music program and then working with young people to teach them how to come together to form that marching band or that high school concert band, you knew about corralling one another and pulling on one another to make it happen. I mean, the fact that you were committed to even doing a rehearsal every day. I mean, if I could get my guys to rehearse every day for a week, it'd have been difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. You know, and the bad part about it, I'll tell you this story later, but nonetheless, they got to the point when I was saying, okay, look, $100 fine if you miss rehearsal. Man, as soon as we started making real money, they would give me, look, $200. I'm not coming tomorrow either. You know? So it didn't work, you know? You know, I'm glad to hear that. So,
well, see, Charles,
you guys did Love Injection. When you got to the Love Injection time, was that the final core of the group? I mean, became the real group?
Kind of, sort of. But you were the first person to record Love Injection. But there's something that we have to go back to. Joe Carter would have told you this, Charles, because you know how Joe was about stuff like this. One of the things that separated us from all the other groups in the whole area is that we were doing originals from the beginning. We started out writing songs because we were college cats. Hannon was writing Chicken and I. We had a song that had chicken excrement it was the name of it.
I remember.
But that became the Bicentennial Boogie. But the whole point was we started out early in our career writing originals. And at every one of our gigs, we would play our songs, whether people had ever heard them or not.
Right.
And Joe used to always, that's what Joe loved about us. We became a lab band for writing originals. And the other thing is, we wouldn't play anybody's music. We used to have knockdown, drag out fights about, we are playing that song. Period. Whereas you all played all the top hits.
If I heard the radio today, we put it at tomorrow.
And we loved y'all for that because y'all did them exactly right. Yeah. But we would say, hell no, we ain't playing it. We not playing that. Let Ujima play it. Let somebody else play it. And for that reason, we kind of locked ourselves in a little bit of a box as being different from the average Richmond groups. Not that we were college cats. What made us different is that number one, we played originals, and number two, we weren't gonna play the top 20 hits. We just weren't gonna do it.
Right.
I see.
And for that reason, we limited a lot of our gigs in places like you all played because you all kind of set the bar for like what a band around here. Everybody expect you to play to go down the jukebox and play this stuff like that. So what we end up doing is going other places like North Carolina and all of that, the Cosmos and Greensboro and Winston-Salem and all of that. And we had the club in Winston-Salem where it was almost like we owned that joint. You and I have talked about the Orange Peel, but the real club we owned was the Dungeon in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, we did play the Dungeon as well.
But we owned the Dungeon because the people in Winston-Salem were radicals. Okay, they were radicals. The Winston-Salem, out of all the cities in North Carolina, where they had the tobacco plant and all that, and they had unionized people and everything, those people were radicals to that day. And to prove that point, when we were Blues and Hannah, remember this, when we were in Winston, the little guy brought up Lad Little, who had started this Black Panther type ambulance service in Winston-Salem, brought Joanne Little up on the stage. Joanne Little had gotten out of jail for killing that prison guard who raped her. And we did Fight the Power that night. We did Fight the Power, boy. We was like, oh God, it was a Black Panther rally up in that joint that night.
There was another group down that area that was very popular called Opus 7.
Opus 7, they were Eugene of North Carolina. Love Injection came later. What I claim the fame was the Bicentennial Boogie. Yeah. Now, other thing we did, Charles, that nobody else did, that Joe loved about us, we started our own record label in '74.
Okay.
We opened our own record shop.
Yeah.
Because we had our record shop where we rehearsed and practiced. So it's like very similar to we were entrepreneurial like you, and that's why Joe loved us so much.
I was trying to get my group to do that, but I had to do it alone.
Yep. Well, we opened our own record shop, and from the force of my crazy personality at the time, that's the way it just worked out. Blues will tell you, I was a little bit of a Charles Mann type dictator when it came to stuff like that, but at the same point, the ideas were entrepreneurial. You know what I'm saying? We were thinking, we're going to do something different. We were just trying to be different. I just put it that way. Go ahead.
Well, not only different, we decided back in the music building, and my daddy said, no, boy, you need to get a job. Yeah, right. I told my daddy, I said, we're gonna play music for a living. Right. Boy, you can't make no money playing music, man. You don't be thinking about it. You better get out, better get your degree and get you a job, man. You're talking about playing some music, but I remember that as the dream. We were determined that we were going to take the steps to get to where Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Commodores and all of those other groups that were out there doing it. Chicago, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, we thought that we could play the style of music that Chicago and Yes, the group that Roundabout, all that kind of stuff. We used to play those songs, and it was unusual to see a black group playing white rock. But we played funky stuff. We did David Bowie,
Fame,
by the James Gang and all that kind of stuff. But we were determined this is what we're going to do.
We already had a Ujima. We already had a Poison. We already had, and see, that was the beautiful thing about this area in Charles, what we had. You all had the top 20 thing locked. Poison was a whole nother type of semi-Earth, Wind, and Fire thing. We and Poison were close to each other, but we were doing more black rock. Matter of fact, we wrote a tune called Black Rock Music.
Yeah.
Right. Look, we played on a gig. Yeah. Hannon and Blues, and Charles, I can tell you this right now. The one thing Trussel had was guts. Yeah. Because we would play our own originals in the middle of a gig and didn't care if nobody liked it or not.
That's right.
Because this is something we wrote, and we gonna play it on the gig whether anybody gets up and dance or not. And there was some times with nobody.
What is that?
Nobody got up and danced. Nobody.
How much support did you get from the college campus with the other classmates?
Oh, we were
as a band.
I tell this story right now, and I'm gonna not dominate, but we were well supported. See, Hannon, first of all, Hannon and Larry were Omegas. All right, so by them being in that brotherhood of Omega Psi Phi, we already had a lot of things locked in. Charles, we traveled all the way to Nashville because the Qs were supposed to be doing. They were trying to be promoters and they were throwing shows here, right? So now they gonna partner up with the Qs out in Nashville to bring Graham Central Station on, right? And we were going out there to be the opening group because basically we became a clone, well, not a clone, but Graham Central Station was one of our early influences, right? Blues right there had the bass voice just like Larry Graham and played bass. Okay. We got him a Mutron the minute we found out what a Mutron was, so he could make all them crazy bass sounds. And we went all the way out to Nashville, man, and we played this gig at Tennessee State University, and it was not well attended, and because the Qs out there hadn't done their work, and the people thought we were Graham Central Station. And Graham Central Station, because we had the girl, we had, we basically had the same kind of similar makeup to Graham Central Station. The two horns and the girl and all that stuff. But Graham Central Station didn't get paid and didn't come on. And we went all the way out to Nashville for a donut.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, well, that only happened once.
It happens.
That only happened once. That hurt, man. That's a long riding to Nashville to not get paid. Blues' daddy would not have thought well of us that night.
Yeah. You can bet he never heard about that one.
Between Bill Jones and H.L. Maclin and Sarge Gray, those were the men that we had in our corner.
Okay.
What we did do is, and I'll let Blues in.
And Bill Jones was the owner of the Mousetrap down in Petersburg. I mean, they had some super groups come through. Like James.
Oh yes, Bill had super acts coming through for years.
Yeah.
Bill, he knew the business.
Very well respected. Very well respected.
Charles recorded the Love Injection demo.
Yes.
Did you remember that, Blues?
No.
Upstairs over the Ebony Island.
Upstairs over the Ebony Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charles had either 8-track or 4-track, 8-track, whatever recorder.
It was a 4-track.
Yeah, 4-track. I had 4-track 15-inch reel.
Yep.
15-inch reel.
Yeah. Take something.
TAC.
TAC. Yeah.
Yeah, and we need that tape if you got it, because
you know what? Believe it or not, my brother still has the machine because I put it in his garage. And he told me that he still got that machine.
We need the tape because Your Love Is So Strange is on that joint.
Yeah.
And we did Blues that night. What did we record that night, Blues? And
we recorded Your Love Is So Strange and Love Injection.
How did that come about happening exactly?
What, Love Injection?
No. The album that you guys happened to be there for me to record you. You were doing a gig there?
No, we hired you to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We needed to do the demo. And so what had happened was Dwight and Joyce came up there that night, Charles, when you were recording us. When Joyce heard us doing Your Love Is So Strange, she said, that's the horn section I want to play on my records.
You guys' memory is a lot better than mine, I tell you.
Oh, man, shoot. Yeah. And we still need to re-record that song.
Let me ask you, your library of original material from that early 73, 74 time period, do you guys have copies of all of that stuff?
One of them is Strange that you recorded that we never released that. And then we've done several other songs that
there are some copies of that stuff around.
Yeah. Pump Funk.
So where's this volume of copies of original music that y'all guys did in the early Trussel Mousetrap days? Where's all this music?
Sitting in somebody's closet somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of it, Chicken has it. Some of it is in my pantry on reel to reel.
And we should compile that stuff.
I challenge you to do that. Bring it all together, even if it's on cassette.
So after we had come to the point where we had put these records out on our own label and wasn't nothing popping, we were kind of like at a little, what we going to do now? We basically were at a standstill. What are we going to do? And so we put it to a vote. Chicken and I voted no.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of y'all voted yes, because we weren't really doing a whole lot. We interviewed Evelyn Champagne King. In order to be her backup band, we wanted to see what she could do, right?
Right.
And Marvin brought her down to Petersburg to one of our practices. And we asked her, we said, well, what do you know how to sing? She said, anything. She's 15, maybe just turned 16. All right, we say anything. We say, you know Chaka Khan? She said, yeah. We said, you know once you get started? He said, yeah. We said, 1, 2, 1. We hit that joint, right? Homegirl opened up her mouth, and we almost dropped our instruments.
Yeah. Come on, she's that good.
Man, let me tell you something. It almost like time stopped. I almost stopped playing when she started singing, man. Never heard a kid with a voice that powerful. And man, after that girl sang, Chicken and I both became two of her biggest fans. we ended up going on the road with her. And then the whole world opened up. A lot of things changed and opened up.
How long were you out with Ellen Champagne?
Year and a half.
All of us went out with her first.
Right.
Your recording contract was with Elektra?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It was a production deal. What happened was, in between the time that we were on the road with Evelyn, we came and hired you to do the recording of the demo. RCA had offered us a deal. When her deal fell apart, that RCA offer kind of fell apart.
Right.
Because we stopped working with her. The guy who came from RCA to be a manager came in the dressing room that night at Constitution Hall and basically said, "Hi guys, I'm Evelyn's new manager and we need to talk." Our loyalty stayed with John to say that, "John, we'll give you a year to find us a record deal since obviously the RCA deal is off." So we came back to you and said, "Hey, we need to cut this demo." We're giving him from 78 to 79 and the deal was about to be up. And they got us the singles deal with Elektra. They got a 3-song singles budget. $28,000 or something, I remember.
And I think Gone for the Weekend was supposed to be the hit in the beginning, wasn't it?
We toured, we played dates with people all, we chalked Chicago and everything else. But what happened was, what's classic about this is all the grifting and riffraff and lying and cheating and stealing that you hear about in the record industry went on during this time. So Love Injection was in the top 20 or wherever it was on Billboard, and it was the top #2 record in New York. It was a big hit all over the place, top disco hit, everything, and we didn't have an album done.
So that was January 1980, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Historically, it's called the end of disco. Love Injection is one of number 199 on the top 200 disco hits of all time. They froze the budget, and so we had this big old hit record and no album.
Right.
All right, but here's what the problem is. When they did approve the album, the crazy people did 2 things that pissed us off horribly. I know it pissed me off. Number one, they named the album Love Injection. All right. This is almost mid 1980, and Love Injection came out the fall of 79. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to turn around and put out an album and name it after a song that was out 6 months ago. Then the second thing they did that pissed us off, they wouldn't put our picture on the album.
The reason that I got was that they wanted the album to sell. The album was really big in the Latino community and the gay community. And they didn't want it identified with any particular, they didn't want it to be identified as black music.
Right.
As soul R&B. They wanted to be able to cross over.
Right. So they put out a record 6 months late, and they make a decision not to put the group's picture on the album because they're trying to appeal to the gay and the crossover audiences.
How much longer after 1980 did the band continue to perform?
Not much longer after that.
What came about, believe it or not, and this was much to my dismay, everybody, Hannon, Larry, everybody got all hyped up about backing up the Showman. And I was like, the Showman? So those guys went and backed up the Showman. And then this guy came over from Nigeria. Well, he's really from California, but he had studied in Nigeria. He comes over to my house with his banjo, and his wife is a good friend of mine. And so I started getting into the roots thing. I already had the dreadlocks. He was playing banjo and I was playing bass. The rest of the guys were backing up the Showman. I don't know what Bill was doing at the time. He might have been hanging out with Marvin Daniels or something, but he was doing something.
Recording.
And so everybody kind of went in all these different directions with the mindset that we're going to put a record out pretty soon. And it might be next week, it might be next month, it might be next year, but Trussel is going to put another record out and we're going to get out there. So everybody was just doing stuff until
Right.
that next album
Yeah.
came out.
Charles, I'm telling you right now, man, because of the sacrifice we had all done and all this stuff, man, to see a crook. I said, and he basically, through his lies and his manipulation, brought our group to a screeching halt because he just lied so much. So I went to the union to get the paperwork for the sessions that we did for our album. And on every one of those sessions, this guy who played no instruments got paid a double as a contractor.
As a contractor,
As a
right?
leader in the contract, he got paid a double for every song we did himself. And he didn't play or sing nothing.
Was his check stopped as well?
No, he was the one that ended up with all the money.
That's not good.
So we actually had the union papers, and that was one of the things that was able to eventually get us out of the contract, is that we had proof that he had stolen money from Elektra through the union. We signed a production deal with him, and he signed with Elektra.
He signed with Elektra.
Elektra told us that we had to get a release from the court in order for them to pick us up, Blues.
Okay.
They said
Because otherwise you were still under contract to him.
He could sue them for tampering.
That's right.
Because if a major label were known to steal groups from independent producers over the years.
They did.
And so the Elektra said, if y'all don't get a release from your contract with him, he can sue us. We can't touch you till you get a release.
With all that all of you have accomplished individually, why haven't you guys entertained Trussel round 2?
We had, but Larry died. Like Blue said, we had a spiritual thing, man. Our spiritual connection to Larry time.
We're going to continue with part 2